Hello, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the J Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Joshua Nowakowski, and without further ado, let's get straight on into today's episode. So, very exciting news to announce, actually. So, I'm going to do kind of a recap thing to start, and then we're going to get into the more current sports news that's going on. But, very exciting news. This is going to be the first video for my Spotify and Apple users that I'm going to be putting out on YouTube so you can see my face. And yeah, if you want to watch that way, because that's just another app and more, another place for me to put out my views and talk sports. And, I figured, why not? So this is the first video I'm going to be putting out on YouTube. I am going to get a better camera for recording on YouTube, but I'm super anxious and I just want to put my first video out on YouTube. So I'm just saying screw it, and I'm just doing the recording off of my MacBook, and I'll get a camera and that and it'll be better eventually. But I'm on YouTube. I'm super excited. I thought about it for a little bit and I was like, you know what? I want to be on YouTube. That's a whole other platform to reach more people, and I also have a big hat and jersey collection that you'll find. So I figured, wear a new jersey every episode, maybe wear a hat every once in a while on my episodes. So I thought, you know what? What's the best way to lead off? Wearing my Dodgers World Series champion jersey. And Mookie Betts, and you can't really see the number, but it's Mookie Betts World Series champion Dodger jersey, Brooklyn Dodgers hat. Figured, can't get any better than that. World Series champion jersey, good way to start out. So I'm super excited to be on YouTube, and I'm gonna get better with editing and adding in photos and videos and stuff that I want to show you. I'm gonna get better at that and do that eventually. But for now, you're just gonna get stuck with this face. So if you don't want to see this face, continue to listen on Spotify and Apple. I love it. But if you want to see my face, I'm on YouTube now. I think it's just Josh Nowakowski if you want to find me on YouTube. I'll put a thing on my Instagram or on if I can put a thing on my Spotify for my YouTube channel. So you guys can get that. But I'm super duper excited to be on YouTube. And I'm just really excited. And we had a lot of sports news going. So I'm going to start off way back. Last weekend I didn't record, had a really crazy, weird, busy, not really busy, but it was a weird week. I didn't record. I just wasn't feeling it, so I didn't. But it was a championship weekend in the NFL. The Kansas City Chiefs and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers won their respective games and are moving on to the Super Bowl. Now, I'm not going to be doing any Super Bowl talk this episode, except for telling you who's in the Super Bowl. But I will be doing that next week. I'm having a guest come on, and we're going to be doing some Super Bowl predictions and talking Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes, and that is going to be such a good matchup. And I have a newfound respect for Tom Brady, I think, and I know that sounds so weird because I've disliked him for my whole life. I think it because he was the Patriots and Deflategate and Spygate, all these things, and I don't know, and I just didn't I respected him. Yeah, he's the greatest of all time, but I don't know, I just didn't like him. But I don't know, this Tampa Bay Tom that's smiling and smiling and joking around, high-fiving the refs and stuff, I don't know, I kind of like this Tom Brady more. I don't know. I have a new respect for Tom Brady, and you can't deny it. He's the greatest NFL player, quarterback ever. Ever. It's no debate. It's you can't even make a serious case for anyone else. Tom Brady is the GOAT. It just facts. I mean, he is. I'm a Vikings fan. And he's beaten the Vikings plenty of times, crushed us a couple of times. But I don't know, this year and the run that he made with this team, I know everyone's oh, it's, you got Tom Brady, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers team is good, but he brought him to the Super Bowl. I have a newfound respect for Tom Brady. And, as much as, we love to hate him, we have a newfound respect. I have a new respect for Tom. So anyways, Super Bowl video coming out next week. I also have some other big news that I'm going to keep a little secret. That's going to be next week. I'm super duper excited for that though. And you'll know more about that next week. and then we'll do Super Bowl prediction episode next week. But we had some other news this week. We had some MLB free agency moves, some signings, big trades actually, in multiple leagues. So, and we have an angry Deshaun Watson to talk about. So let's first start off in the MLB, because that's where I think the most movement kind of happened since my last episode. First, I'll talk about the most recent news, and that is the Nolan Arenado trade. So literally, like, it happened tonight, and it's still, like, in the making, I guess. Like, it's not official yet. There's still a lot of steps that need to be taken, but it seems pretty official. So Nolan Arenado of the Colorado Rockies is on his way to the St. Louis Cardinals. As a Dodger fan, thank God he's out of the NL West. Don't have to play him 16 times a year anymore. He's still in the NL, and he's on the Cardinals, which is... Dodger fans hate the Cardinals. The Dodgers and Dodger fans hate the Cardinals, and it's because they've had our number in the playoffs these last... when we've met, they've had our number. And so, kind of, like, they're like, outside of our division, like... in the NL, like, we hate the Cardinals. So, but he's going to be heading to the Cardinals, so happy he's going to be out of this division and going somewhere else. But so I'm going to bring up this tweet that I saw from Jeff Passan. I'm also recently on Twitter. I'm still kind of figuring it out, but I I'm on it now on Twitter, so woo, go me, branching out, and now this YouTube. But so this is what Jeff Passan had to tweet out about the Nolan Arenado trade. He said, "When the Nolan Arenado trade deal gets done, it'll be among the most complicated ever in baseball. The waive and regain of a no-trade clause, the $50 million moving, the deferrals, the additional opt-out, approval from the MLB and PA, and also, as John Heyman reported, an extra year at $15 million. So, right now, all that's reported is Arenado goes to the Rockies, and the Rockies are getting $50 million back. That's it. Like, no players, no draft picks. Like, what's being reported is Arenado for $50 million, which, like, that's insane. Like, that's just crazy to me that I've a superstar player of him, and, I mean, there might be players involved, but, like, if it just goes through Arenado for money, that's insane. Like, I've never heard of a trade like that happen. Like, I've been talking to a few people about it, and, like, we're all on, like, the same wavelength where we're like, this is super weird. This is not normal. This is something that doesn't happen ever. And so it's really, I'm really confused. Like, is it really straight up Arenado for $50 million? And then it's like, he has to waive his no trade clause, and then he's adding another year to the contract for $15 million, and then adding back on his no trade clause, and then you still need approval from the MLB and Players Association that this is okay to happen. So, like, there's still steps to be done until it's, like, official, but, like, it seems pretty official that Arenado's going to be going to the Cardinals. Yes, things could change, something could happen, I guess, and the trade could fall through, but I mean, it's mind-blowing trade in my opinion, and I don't want to give my opinion on who I think wins the trade or whatever. Like, I don't know if it's just Arenado for $50 million. The Cardinals are getting a superstar third baseman in his prime for a long, long time, and they're sending just over a crap ton of cash. Like, I don't know, it's just so weird. But anyways, once like the full details are disclosed, I'll talk about it a little bit again and give my opinion, I guess. But yeah, so that happened tonight. Also earlier today, Jock Peterson left the Dodgers. He signed I believe it's a 1-year contract with the Chicago Cubs. Yeah, he will be missed. I will say that. Jock Peterson had his issues in the regular season where he never hit for a high average. I think this past year he hit in the shortened season, he hit 190. The year before that he hit 230, but he hit 36 bombs in 2019, 2020. 2019, 2020. Yeah, 2019. And so he, I don't know. I'm going to miss him in the playoffs, though. A regular season, Jock is, like, yeah, he's a good baseball player. Like, he's got a good arm. He isn't. He's a decent defender. His bat is hit and miss, but like postseason, Jock Peterson is insane. Like, I don't know, something happens to him where he just goes fucking crazy, and he's just like absolutely goes insane, and he just starts getting on base, having really good at bats. I don't know, but Jocktober, that was his Jocktober. That was one of his nicknames. He showed up in the playoffs. So, but thank you for your time in LA, Jock. You were one of my favorite players. You got, there was always trade rumors circulating around you. I always liked you. And you were an awesome player. So I just want to say thank you, Jock Peterson, for your time in LA. And this next one really hurts. Like, this one really hurts to say, but Kike Hernandez signed a 2-3 year deal with the Boston Red Sox. That one hurts. A locker room guy, a good player, a great defensive player. Again, bat was hit or miss, but he always seemed to get on base when he needed to. That was the key with Kike. When he needed to get on base, or we needed a base hit, he got one. And the energy that this guy brought was just insane and crazy, and he's going to be really missed. He's going to be really, really missed in LA. And he put out a little Dear LA video that was so nice and just summed up his 6 years as a Dodger. From this, who is this guy, minor leaguer, like, who the hell are you, utility man, and turned into a World Series champion, and played every position but catcher. He even pitched, I'm pretty sure he even played first base for a game or two, actually. But, like, he's going to be so missed. Like, a locker room guy, really. And I have a quick story about Kike Hernandez. I was at his last, I don't know if it was his only, but his last bobblehead night. So me and my dad were talking about getting season tickets for the Dodgers in 2020 for the All-Star game, which, got canceled, but this is before COVID. And so the guy we were talking to, like, my dad needed more details and wanted, know more. And the guy's like, all right, when, you guys want to meet up for an appointment, and, with our schedules and work schedules and stuff, we were like, yeah, but, like, really nighttime only works. And he's like, okay, I'll get you tickets to the game. How about that? And we're like, okay, deal. So he got it. He gave us 2 tickets to they were playing the Blue Jays too, which Blue Jays, they're my second favorite team. I love the Toronto Blue Jays. I'm going to talk more about them in a few minutes, and some of the moves that they have made. But anyways, Blue Jays Dodgers, I went to 2 of the 3 games there, which was really fun. Both games were really good. And it was also Kike bobblehead night, so we got our Kike bobblehead, got our seats, really good seats. Talked to the guy about season tickets. Ended up really not going through with it. It was pretty expensive, and then COVID all happened. So we were like, yeah, we're going to take a rain check, and whenever the All-Star game does come to Dodger Stadium, maybe we'll do it, because we were hoping to go to the All-Star game, home run derby, do it all. Anyways, not the point of my story. I'm getting sidetracked. I know. I'm sorry. It was Kike's bobblehead night, and if anyone remembers that game, the Vlad Jr. hit a home run, which probably no one really remembers except for me, because it was awesome. And Vlad Jr., he's gonna have an outstanding upcoming season. But the Dodgers were trailing or tied going into the 9th inning, and they were trailing, they were losing, and they hadn't got a hit in forever. And in the 9th inning, the bats came alive. It was like a Muncy hit, Bellinger, Seager. They were hitting around, and they got the run, tied the game, and then I think there were 2 outs in the 9th, and there was a man on second base, and who was up to bat? Frickin' Kike Hernandez. And I looked at my dad. I said, Kike's ending this game. This game's over. Kike's winning it. And I don't remember the count, but I do have a recording of what happened. Kike hits a little blooper, like a little ground ball. It barely got out of the infield, like it barely got past the shortstop. but into center field. And then the whole stadium's going crazy. But, like, there's still a play. Like, I was looking, I was like, oh, shit, there's going to be a play at the plate. And the center fielder guns it home, but his throw was offline. He's safe. Kike walks it off on his bobblehead night. The stadium was erupted. It was so crazy. And I have a video of all that, and it was so cool. But Kike, I loved Kike, and it's going to be real tough to see him go. I'm hoping the Dodgers can keep Justin Turner, keep that locker room guy. I really hope they can keep him because it'd suck to lose 3 of those guys this offseason. Jansen, I'm kind of okay with letting go, but whatever. But thank you, Kike, for your 6 years in LA. You will be dearly missed by LA. Like, Jock, you'll be missed. Kike, you'll be missed so much. Like, you will be missed a lot. And so just thank you for the 6 years that you gave to this Dodgers organization. Like, it was awesome to see you always smiling and always making everyone laugh. Like, always putting a smile on everyone's face. So thank you, Kike. Other baseball news. The Toronto Blue Jays are going freaking insane with their signings here. They signed George Springer. They signed Marcus Semien, traded for Steven Matz. But, like, there's some big names. And, like, the Marcus Semien one, I'm a little confused about because he's a shortstop and they have Bo Bichette. I don't know. A little confused about that one. But, hey, the more firepower, the better because the AL East is going to be tough. You got the Yankees. You got the Rays, and you got now the Blue Jays. Oh my! Like, the AL East is gonna be a dogfight, and I'm super excited for this Blue Jays team. Though I know George Springer's a cheater, all that. I know. He's still a cheater. I still hate the Astros. I still don't like George Springer, but hopefully he does good on the Blue Jays. He's on a different team now, so. But the Blue Jays have been making some pretty big offseason moves. Still some notable free agents available. Trevor Bauer. Still hasn't signed anywhere, and I don't think anyone really knows where he's going to go at this point. I've heard about the Mets, I've heard about the Dodgers, and I've heard about the Angels, which LA guy went to UCLA. I would feel he's going to come to one of the LA teams. I think the Angels is more likely and more needed, really, for the Angels. They need a starting pitcher. So, maybe Bauer ends up going there, but, we'll see what happens. Pitchers and catchers are going to be reporting soon, I believe, and, I think under a month, pitchers and catchers are going to be reporting, so really excited for that. So that's really all the MLB news. Had some big trade moves, some Dodger players move, Blue Jays signing some people. Still notable free agents out there, though, Kirby Yates. That was the other one the Blue Jays did. Kirby Yates. There's one. It was still in my head. Kirby Yates. That's right. He's a Blue Jay now. Anyways, that's all the MLB news. NHL news, there actually was a trade, which the Ducks were almost involved, which sucks. But the Columbus Blue Jackets traded star Pierre-Luc Dubois to the Winnipeg Jets for Patrick Laine. And there's another player that went. I don't remember his name, but those were the big names. So star for star trade, and Columbus got another player, and both players wanted out like really bad. I think all 3 of them had requested a trade to get out. So but I was looking at reports. It was down to 3 teams. It was down to Winnipeg. It was down to Montreal, and it was down to Anaheim. And I knew if it was going to be Patrick Laine being involved in the trade, he was probably going to go to Winnipeg, but I was hoping Anaheim could pull it off, get a nice young, he's like 22, 23 years old, a nice young center who is very good defensively, because that's what the Ducks honestly need right now. They need someone like Pierre-Luc Dubois, and unfortunately they couldn't get the deal done, but they got some young prospects. I've actually liked what I've seen from the Ducks this year. I mean, John Gibson is freaking saving this team, but I've liked what I've seen from them, I want to see more from the young kids. I want Dallas Eakins to give the young kids more ice time, but other than that, I've been enjoying Ducks hockey. So that's really all the hockey news, though, and I know a lot of my listeners aren't big hockey fans, so I try and keep my hockey news short and simple because I know I don't have a big hockey fan base. But Uh, NBA, there's still like, I don't know. This NBA season's been so weird. Like, I've watched Laker games. They're on a 2-game losing streak. But, like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. This season just feels so weird. I don't know. I just haven't been as devoted as I think I have in the past. I don't know. It's just like I've been watching Laker games. I guess I'm more like, since they won the championship, I'm more like, tell me when the playoffs start or when they play a playoff team. That's when I'll watch them. I don't know. But there really isn't much NBA news. No trades. Games are still being postponed. Not at the rate they were a few weeks ago, like I had been talking about. It's gotten a little bit better, which is really good. I don't know what the change was, but whatever. It's not as many postponements of games, which is really good. So NBA is still just moving along. The NBA is still just moving along. So another thing I wanted to talk about, we're going back to baseball. This episode's going to be a lot of baseball. Just fair warning. So, a lot of baseball. So, and this past week there was the Hall of Fame voting. So, you had the finalists for the Hall of Fame and then the voting, and you need to get to 75% to make the Hall of Fame. Is that that's the rules. You get 75%, and you're in the Hall of Fame. So nobody was elected in the Hall of Fame. None of the names on the list got elected in, which it was shocking for some people. I don't know. So, anyways, I'm just gonna go over like the big names. I'm just gonna go over some of the big names on the ballot, and let you know like my opinion. I put a poll out on Instagram. And ask for your guys' like, do these players deserve to be in the Hall of Fame? And you guys, gave your opinions. So now I'm gonna give mine. Tell you who I think should and shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. So the first player, and I guess the most notable because he was the closest one, was Curt Schilling. So Curt Schilling. Anyways, I'm gonna go over his stats as a career. Then he had some other things on why he thinks he didn't go into the Hall of Fame. I don't know how accurate those are, but anyways, the stats I'm getting Baseball Reference. That's where I get my stats whenever I talk baseball. So Curt Schilling, career 216 wins, 146 losses, and a 3.46 ERA. Those stats are borderline. So okay. So before I even move on, those stats right there, those are borderline stats. 216 wins, a 3.46 ERA. He was a 6-time All-Star, a 3-time World Series. He won the World Series 3 times and won MVP once. So that's where, okay, so like his stats themselves are borderline, but he has 3 World Series and he won the World Series MVP, NLCS MVP, 6-time All-Star. So he's played with Baltimore, Houston, Philadelphia, Arizona, and Boston. Now his best year was, in my opinion, his best year was in 2001, where he went 22-6, had a 2.98 ERA. That was with Arizona in 2001. Also 2004 with Boston, 21-6, 3.26 ERA. But here's where I guess the debate comes in. So he did win 3 World Series MVP. People know him for the bloody sock game. A lot of people bloody sock game. But he was a clutch pitcher. That's what he was known for. That is what Curt Schilling is known for. He so I want to search up this person before I just throw out his name, because I don't want to throw out this guy's name as a comparison and then just be like totally off and get roasted for it. Okay, I guess it's a little off. Never mind. He reminded me a little bit of Greg Maddux, a little bit, only because of the clutch pitching part. Like, Greg Maddux had a career 3.16 ERA, but Maddux won 4 Cy Youngs. Schilling never won a Cy Young. So that comparison's out the door, not comparing the two of them. Anyways, Curt Schilling was known for being a clutch pitcher on a team with 3 Hall of Fame with on that Boston rotation he was in was ridiculously talented. When Boston needed to win a game, they wanted Schilling with the ball, not Pedro Martinez. They wanted Curt Schilling with the ball. So he was known as being a very clutch pitcher, and I hear that. So his stats are borderline, but he was very clutch and won 3 World Series. But he has talked a lot about his political views, which part of, if you look, and a lot of people say, well, you should just look at the person's career. Just look at the person's career. Yeah, let's just look at those people. Just look at the career. If you search up what the Hall of Fame committee looks at, it says character. Your character. And he's a very big, he likes Twitter. He loves to use Twitter. He's a lot like one of his friends that he talks about a lot on Twitter. But anyways, so Curt Schilling talks a lot, and I think that plays part of. I think some people did vote no because of that, which sucks. But in my opinion, personally, I'm not thinking about his political views. I am just thinking of him as a player. When I look at these stats, but he's a 3-time World Series champ and known as a very clutch pitcher. He's a no for me in the Hall of Fame. He's a no for me. His stats are so borderline. I know he was clutching, but his stats are so borderline. So he's a no for me. Now, there are a few other players that were on the ballot. I'm going to go over 2 that were on the ballot and 1 that wasn't, but I think I've talked about him before, but I'm going to talk about him again. And so now we're getting into the steroid users. Yes, the roiders. So let's start off with the first one. Barry frickin' Bonds. How about that one? Yeah, let's start with Barry Bonds. So Curt Schilling is a no. Now, Barry Bonds had 2,935 career hits, 762 home runs, a .298 batting average, 7-time MVP, 14-time All-Star, 8-time Gold Glove winner, 12-time Silver Slugger, 2-time Battle Champion, and 3-time Major League Player of the Year, according to Baseball Reference. He played 22 years, played from age 21 to 42 with Pittsburgh Pirates and the San Francisco Giants. Now, I believe it was so when Barry Bonds got caught for steroids, it was in his 15th season. So he was starting his decline. He was 36, 37, and he was caught with steroids. And you saw the change. He was a little he was a small, scrawny guy, and he just San Francisco Barry Bonds, and he was just woo, big boy. And so he was he just got ginormous. So in Barry Bonds is such a hard one for me. I've gone back and forth on Barry Bonds so many times, but I found out something that I hadn't ever known, and that actually changed my opinion about it. So I didn't know it was his 15th year that when he got caught with steroids. So I think about that, and I look at his stats in his first 15 years. I just look at his stats in his first 15 years, and I look at that and I go, okay, 1993, 46 home runs. 2001, 73 home runs. That I think that was the steroid year right there. It was 2001. I'm pretty sure that was the year. But 40, 30, 40 on home runs, 120 RBIs multiple times. I look at these stats and I look at the accomplishments. And I just say, okay, if he didn't get caught with steroids and just retired after his first 15 years, I think he's a Hall of Famer. I really do. If he does that. But there was the roids incident and everything. But for me, he gets into the Hall of Fame. And I know it's difficult for me to accept that, that Barry Bonds is the biggest roid user. Well, not the most often, but one of the bigger roid users. Gets into the Hall of Fame, but like he went 15 years of having a really solid career, and I still, if he never took him, I think he would have been in the Hall of Fame. But he will never ever be the home run king. That is a fact. He will never ever be the home run king in my opinion because he took steroids. Hank Aaron is the home run king. Also, rest in peace, Hank Aaron. That was such a tragic loss. Some huge losses in baseball already in 2021. But Hank Aaron is always going to be the home run king in my mind. And when someone breaks Hank Aaron's record, they're the home run king. Barry Bonds, he can get into the Hall of Fame. He can be in the Hall of Fame. That's cool. But he is not the home run king. That will always be Hank Aaron until his record is broken. But anyways, so that's Barry Bonds. I'm going to go yes with Barry Bonds. I'm going to go yes with Barry Bonds. So the next one was Roger Clemens. Him and Barry Bonds were the next closest. They were like 61%. So Roger Clemens, 354 wins, 184 losses, and a 3.12 ERA. Won an MVP, 7-time Cy Young, won the pitcher's triple crown twice. 11-time All-Star, 2-time World Series champ, 7-time ERA title, All-Star Game MVP, and won Major League Player of the Year once. Wow. Those are some crazy good stats. Like, yeah, those are some good stats right there. And I believe, and if I'm wrong, just tell me, like, let me know. Shoot me a DM. If you're watching on YouTube, comment, say, no, you're wrong about this. I believe he was the same situation as Barry Bonds. He got caught later on in his career with steroids. So, he has the stats. So if I'm correct and the roids came later on in his career, I'm putting him as a yes as well. I'm going to say a yes for him, for Roger Clemens. Again, he was very good, but again, notorious steroid user. So I put him as a yes. So I have two more players to go over, and then I'm gonna wrap up this video. So Roger, so far I'm a no on Schilling, yes on Bonds, yes on Clemens, and now we're gonna get into Sammy Sosa, which I know I did a podcast where I kind of talked about them, but like my opinions have changed, and I've done more research and looked into it more. I guess I don't know. So sorry if you've listened to that episode and you're like, Josh, you're just going over the same stuff again. Sorry, I just find it interesting. I love talking about. I could talk about Hall of Fame stuff all the time. I won't bring up Pete Rose in this episode, even though he should be in the Hall of Fame. That's all I'll say about that. Anyways, Sammy Sosa. So Sammy Sosa, 2,408 hits, 609 home runs, an average a 273 hitter. He won MVP, was a 7-time All-Star, 6-time Silver Slugger, and won Major League Player of the Year once. Again, big steroid user. And I believe his came a little bit earlier on in his career. And he played 16 years. Sammy Sosa's a no for me. I'm just honest, he's a no for me. And I know, like, oh, well, you put these steroid users in, but you're not going to put him in? Yeah, I don't know. Like, I know some people aren't going to like that I switched, I'm a yes for some roid users and a no for others, but, like, I don't know. Sosa's been one of the guys who's, like, denied him and Bonds, and that's the other irritating thing with Bonds, is, like, they denied it for so long. We're like, oh, no, I didn't do it. Like, what? And it's like, dude, just admit, like, Bonds, you grew, like, insanely much over, like, an off season. Like, I don't know. So I don't like that about them, which is why my opinion is different about the next player I'm going to talk about. But Sammy Sosa's a no for me. 2,408 hits, 273 hitter, not bad. Major League, above Major League average, 609 homers. But Sammy Sosa's a no for me. Now, this guy, he can't get in, but I'm still going to talk about him because I think he deserves to be in. And that is, well, okay. Okay. I don't know now. I'm looking at, okay, no. Okay, anyways. I'm just going to say Mark McGwire. Mark McGwire, he had he played about 15 years, had 1,626 hits, 583 homers, and a career average of 263. Won Rookie of the Year, 12-time All-Star, 1989 World Series, won a Gold Glove, 3-time Silver Slugger. So the difference here with Mark McGwire is he was very open about his steroid use. He was very open about it. He talked about it. He was like, "Yeah, I had crazy back pain." Like, there's stories where teammates were like, "Yeah, he left him out in his locker room all the time." Like, I'm not even joking. Like, I'm pretty sure I've read stories where teammates and reporters have been like, why you?" He's like, "Yeah, I got back pain, and so I take these. Yeah, I use roids and all of that." And teammates reported seeing it all around the locker room and stuff. So, his honesty, he's like, yeah, he was very honest, which made me more like, oh, I'm on your, like, you were honest. You said I fucked up, and you were honest about it. But he didn't even get 2,000 hits. He's 1,600 hits, 583 homers, 263 hitter. He's not on the ballot anymore, so I won't spend a lot of time on him. I guess he's a no. I really would love for him to be in, but he doesn't really have the stats, I guess. I don't know. But so that's all I'm gonna do for today's episode. Sorry I don't. I talked some baseball, talked a little bit of hockey, but mostly baseball. But next week is gonna be a fun week. I promise next week will be a big week. Okay, I can promise that. I'll give you a clue. I'm going to be a guest on a podcast, and I'm going to be having a guest on my podcast. So that's all happening next week. Sorry today's video is kind of on the longer side and kind of on the boring side, but I hope you guys liked it. Check me out on YouTube. I'm on YouTube now. Listen to me on Spotify and Apple Podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, hit subscribe, like the video, follow me on Apple and Spotify. Follow me on Instagram at j_sports_podcast. Thank you all for listening, and until next time, this has been Joshua Nowakowski of the J Sports Podcast. Peace.